an idea about the size of the country. It's quite fascinating. We talk about a country, 13,000 square miles, and from north to south, it would take you 4 hours to go through the country, and from west to east, 2 dikes today in the Netherlands. But the dikes were not only used as a protection from the coastal areas, they were used also for the creation of a thing called the polders. Have you heard that term before? Okay, let me show you how a polder looks like from up top. That's a polder. I mean, you would build the dike around it to isolate this area, and then you will make trenches, like ditches, as you see, around the places that you want to dry out to make sure that will be solid ground. And then with a system of sluices and dams, you would raise the water to the same level as the river, and then dump it into the river. Polders became, the first polders were created 11th century, but their use became more extensive in the 1200s, late 1200s. Why is that? Because at the time, 1282 and 1287, we have 2 major floods hitting the country. When I say 2 major floods, 80,000 people lost their lives. Okay, back in the 1200s, that's a staggering number. Okay, and the Dutch decided that they have to create more dry land for the people, and that's how the polders came in use. But remember what I told you earlier, the problem of the Netherlands, that the country keeps on what? Sinking. So at some point, the sluices and the dams, they're not enough to bring the water to the desired level, to the level of the river, to dump it in. So what do you do? What's the solution, do you think?
Pump.
Windmills, exactly. Windmills. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the first windmill was invented by a Greek architect, Greek engineer, excuse me. It's going to be like my big fat Greek wedding, you know that, right? No, Heron of Alexandria. But the windmills we know have nothing to do with that first version of his. Actually, they are based on the Middle Eastern version, the Persian version of a windmill, like you see on the bottom left picture. The ones that you will see in Netherlands in general, they are like the ones in the middle and the right picture. The one in the middle, the post windmill, is the early version, 12th century. Okay? The big picture on the right is the tower windmill, and it's considered the improvement. And that's the version you see more often in the Netherlands. What's the difference between the two of them? If you see the middle picture, okay, the entire structure is the windmill. Okay? All the gear and all the machinery is in the main building. Okay? So, what was the problem with this version? If you had to turn the windmill to face the wind, which I think is a requirement for the windmill to work, you had to turn the entire structure, the whole building, which was quite inconvenient, quite difficult. Now, on the tower windmill, it's different. What's the difference? All the gear and the machinery at the very top, at the cup, let's say, of the windmill. So you don't have to, the building is fixed on the ground and you turn just the top part. It's much, much easier. And this is the type of windmill that you will see also in Kinderdijk, that you will go in to visit in Kinderdijk. The tower windmill, and it dates back to the 1700s. Now, what do we need to add to pump up the water, to lift the water and bring it to the desired level? Scoop wheel, right? You have seen the scoop wheels, but the problem with the scoop wheel was that the diameter of it is 5 feet. And in some cases you had level difference more than 5 feet, like 10 and 15 feet. So what do? You create a series of windmills, okay? And you can see polder water, lower basin, intermediate basin, and then across the dike and into the river, and eventually into the sea. In the early 1700s, you have 11,500 windmills in the Netherlands. Can you imagine? Just to pump water. Just to pump water. And each and every one of them could lift 13,000 gallons of water an hour.
Wow.
Wow. Exactly. That is a wow. And I'll give you some very interesting figures. Of course, the windmills were not used only for pumping water. They were the social media of the time as well, if I could say so. Depending on how you would position your sails, it would have a significance. It would mean something. And you can see some different messages. For example, position 1, it means great joy, marriage or a birth in the family. Position 2 would mean mourning, somebody died in the family. 3 is short rest, overnight or repairs. Position 4 is long rest, perhaps windmill not in use. Black sails is never a good thing. It means distress, something's wrong, come to our aid, something like that. And of course, 6, you can see it says celebration. Whenever the windmill is decorated, that means there is some kind of celebration. You do know that the Netherlands still have a king. I mean, they do have a royal family, right? And I would just like to ask, do you know what are the colors of the national flag of the Netherlands?
Bleu, blanc, rouge, but just on the side of the French.
Correct. Not like the French, but same color. Yes, exactly. It's red, white, and blue. But what's the color of the Dutch? What's the national color?
Orange.
Orange. But why? Because of the royal family. It's the House of Orange. You see, the gentleman who led the Dutch revolt against the Spanish in 1568, it was William of Orange. Okay? That's why orange is the national color of the Dutch. 80 years war against the Spanish crown, and a gentleman called Philip II. Do you know the name at all? Spanish Inquisition? Same guy. So, now, as I said, we will be reaching Kinderdijk this afternoon, and this is the largest concentration of windmills today. And you will get the chance to see it. It's really, really beautiful, and such a lovely day. I am sure you're going to have a great time. But technology progresses, and we have improvements in the water management methods. We're coming early 18th century, 18th century, and the first steam pumping station is being created in Billdorf, which is about an hour's drive from Rotterdam. It's quite close, and that was a huge improvement for the Dutch. What happened? The first pumping station that was created there in Billdorf could pump 16,000 gallons of water. How much did I say earlier? 13,000 gallons an hour, right? Did I say that? 16,000 gallons a minute. So you understand the difference. And here we go. Let's go for another Greek mathematician. Do you know Archimedes? Have you heard of this? Archimedes screw? They added the Archimedes screw to those pumping stations, and that allowed them to lift much higher volumes of water, and actually quite higher, up to 30 feet with that screw. And from 16,000 gallons a minute, they went to 95,000 gallons a minute. So, you understand what we're talking about now. And that increased the appetite of the Dutch for dry land. Because you see, the Dutch always had great plans to isolate areas and dried out areas, but they didn't have the means to do it. But now they can. And you will see a pattern that will emerge from the history of the Dutch. First you have a natural catastrophe, and then they would act. At least the Dutch did act. And 1928, there is a major flood in the north of the country. I mean, the North Sea, it's the northern part of Netherlands. And the Dutch decided to do something about it. They said, we have to build something to protect our north part of the country. What they're doing, I was here for the floods that we had in Europe 5 years ago. Okay, we were all here on the river, and it was really bad. For example, for those of you that have been to Passau, Passau was devastated by those floods back then 5 years. I mean, people lost their lives. We had crew members that lost their houses. Really bad, really, really bad. Switzerland, which is very organized, was less affected, but it was affected, it was flooded. Germany, flooded. France, yeah. The Netherlands, not a drop. Not a drop. They didn't feel any of it. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, the Dutch are by far the best in water management. And that's why we wanted to do this presentation, because people might have the impression, oh, the windmills are beautiful. It's just a symbol of, it was a matter of life and death for them, to keep their feet dry. So I think it's fascinating what they have done. And as I said, I was lucky to be involved here, to be in this area, to learn more about it. And I sincerely hope that at least I gave you a good introduction on what you're going to see in the afternoon. I told you that the guides are not professional guides. They are local volunteers, like millers or sons of millers or civil engineers local. They have lived with that without threat, continuous threat on their lifestyle. So I think it's a fascinating fact to hear more about it when you're in the afternoon. And I hope you just got a nice picture of what you will see. Thank you very, very much for your kind attention. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll